Hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook. There's a link in the description below. Excitement hasn't reached a fever pitch, but it's definitely quite anticipatory across, that's a great word, across the entirety of the market right now. The anticipation for the rollout of several, as far as we've been getting, cryptocurrency linked ETFs is also at an all-time high. At the current expectation, I think we're waiting for around like 10 of them. Price predictions are through the roof. We were talking a couple of days ago, in case you missed it at some point, the current expectations for XRP are anywhere between 14 to 17 US dollars in like a month and a half, somewhere around there. There's a lot of hype again surrounding Ethereum. In case you missed it, geez Louise, in case you missed it, we've seen the amount of inflows into the Ethereum ETFs. There's a lot of discussion around staking. People think we are going to hit anywhere between $7,000 to $10,000 per Ether. Also within the next 2 months. This is constantly the number that's popping up at some time around March. Now I just smacked my leg. Now the anticipation for Bitcoin is of course always there. But we're getting a lot of reiterations from analysts talking about like, yep, this is definitely going to happen. The solid number that keeps popping up, there's two of them. There's one that's like, oh yeah. And then there's one like, oh yeah, like that kind of thing. The first one is $250,000. Every analyst across the board seems convinced that over the course of this year, Bitcoin's going to $250,000 plus. The honed in number is constantly $500,000 US for Bitcoin over the course of this year. Of course, potentially accelerated by the millions of things currently floating in the sky. The US buying Bitcoin, states buying Bitcoin, countries buying Bitcoin, provinces buying Bitcoin. What's the other one? The other rumored additional Bitcoin and like other altcoin ETFs, if you didn't see those, there's a lot of people filing for like Bitcoin, Ethereum ETFs, Bitcoin and a couple of altcoin ETFs, like that kind of thing. The institutions are constantly buying. The current ETFs are breezing through crypto exchanges and just gobbling up as much crypto as they possibly can. The expectation of a $1 million Bitcoin still sits very high in the sky, but I think a lot of people have kind of stepped back because it sounds completely insane. No one would mind a near 10x in price, but if we can be a little bit more realistic until we start getting more news. In the news today is Plan Bitcoin. Plan B is back with a vengeance. Not really, he's kind of always there. He's basically reiterated that if everything I just said comes to pass, and he's more honed in on, as one should be, the United States accumulating Bitcoin. He says, like, should everything come to fruition, basically, we're going to have a $500,000 Bitcoin over the course of this year. It seems relatively believable. It doesn't. This space is so weird and so crazy. Nothing actually really surprises me anymore. I feel if we got to $1 million Bitcoin by December 21st, 2025, I feel like we'd barely even hear it like in the news. Like in crypto news, we'd hear about it. But I don't know if anyone would actually be like excited. A lot of and it's not like bull run euphoria. It's just like general like, oh snaps, it's happening kind of euphoria. I don't feel it. we talked about this maybe 2 weeks ago. I was having dinner with a friend and he was like, doesn't it feel weird? Passed by 100K, seeing these new all-time highs, but there doesn't seem to be like a dramatical feeling in the air. Tying, I want to say loosely into that as well. The amount of Bitcoin that is being the amount of Bitcoin being accumulated continues to rise. There's no slowing down at all, and I don't predict that there will be anytime soon. There's a company by the name of HODL 15 Capital. Why not? HODL 15 Capital. They said that apparently there are 70 publicly listed firms that have been purchasing Bitcoin. These publicly listed firms collectively hold 612,734 Bitcoin. And that's not including MicroStrategy. 70 publicly listed companies are holding 612,734 Bitcoin. We're getting news constantly all the time. I don't know if you watch the other channel, The Modern Investor. It goes into more like a flurry of news, if you will, like because there's always a lot of things happening over the course of a 24-hour period. And any given day, we hear of a company who purchased 3,000 Bitcoin, one who purchased 80, one who purchased 340. Like, I mean, it's like a constant thing as well. That's why I find really any kind of skepticism about anything about Bitcoin basically taking over the world, like really weird. Any skepticism should have been thrown out the window a long time ago, because it's abundantly clear where all of this is actually going, how high Bitcoin's going to go in price. And if you can explain it to me, that'd actually be wonderful. Are any of you skeptical? Like, be completely honest. Are any of you skeptical at all about Bitcoin going to $500,000? Can you tell me why? Are any of you, because mathematically, some of you have to be, are any of you skeptical about Bitcoin going to $1 million? And I mean that can be this year, next year, 2029. Skepticism. Do you have it? What holds you back in this space? What stops you from understanding what's actually happening? And I say that even from the vantage point of like a shoulda, woulda, coulda kind of thing. Do you have FOMO in this space? Do you not have FOMO? Like, at all? Do you purchase coins? Do you only purchase them when the price goes up? Do you have no intention of buying any more Bitcoin? I'm asking real questions because usually when I get news like this, I send my friends photos or screenshots and we like send tons of information back and forth. And it lights a bonfire, because the more numbers that you get, the more like hyper solidifies that Bitcoin is going to be around for at least the next 120 years. But then I tell other friends who aren't in finance and they go, wow, you, should we order for dinner? Or are we going out? Like, it just goes, they're completely over not even their heads. It just doesn't mean anything to them. So when you hear news like this, does it excite you? Is it blah? Do you not really care? Do you want the institutions just to hold all the Bitcoin? Do you care for Bitcoin? Like, I always want to gauge exactly where people are in the space, because I just feel like there's no excitement every time we get any kind of news. And then even when we do hit these amazing like price numbers, so few people seem to actually care. Yeah. 70 companies hold 612,000 Bitcoin. That is not including MicroStrategy. And Plan Bitcoin has said he's expecting a $500,000 BTC over the course of 2025. I believe it. That's just me personally. Hope you've all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day. Morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.